I was halfway through mowing my front yard, sweat in my eyes, grass clippings stuck to my shins when she strutted up my driveway like she'd been cast as the villain in a daytime soap. Clipboard in one hand, sunglasses perched on a bleach blonde helmet of hair. And this looked like, I don't care if you're busy or you're going to hear me talk. She stopped, planted her heels right at the edge of my sidewalk, and said, "Zayden Fletcher," with the kind of tone you use to read out a traffic violation. Not a neighborly, "Hey, Zayden." No, this was official business. Trouble business. "We need to talk about your landscaping non-compliance." I killed the mower, yanked off my gloves. "Nice to see you too, Clarabth." Clarabth Ashburn, HOA board president, self-declared queen of our neighborhood, and the main reason I'd installed a security camera on my porch. Ever since she got elected 2 years back, if you call 3 votes an election, things had gone from cozy suburbia to passive-aggressive purgatory emails about fence color, anonymous complaints about Christmas lights in November, and now, apparently, the lawn police. She flipped through her stack of papers. She always had a stack, like she was prepping for a congressional hearing. "You're not enrolled in our community-approved landscaping service. All residents are required to use green crest groundskeeping. It's in our updated guidelines." Updated without a vote, I shot back. She blinked at me like I'd started speaking in tongues. "The board approved it. That counts, doesn't? That's not how our CC and RS work," I said, keeping my voice steady. "You can't just force us to pay for some private company you picked out of a hat." She leaned in, all fake conspiratorial. "Zayden, trust me, this is easier for everyone. Green crest keeps the neighborhood consistent. You'll be billed next week." I took a step back, trying to keep my cool. "No, I won't. You can't just tack on random charges and call them dues. That's fraud." She scribbled something on her clipboard, like she was jotting down my last words for the record. "Then I'll be issuing a non-compliance fine. We'll see what the board says at the next meeting." She spun on her heel and marched off, those heels clicking out a beat that just screamed petty authority. Now, Greencrest, let me tell you, a reputation. Overcharged, underdelivered, and some weeks, according to neighbors, didn't even show up. And here I was, getting forced into a scam I wanted no part of. Not happening. I marched straight into my garage, yanked down my dusty binder every HOA doc since I moved in and flipped through. Optional partnerships, encouraged uniformity, but nowhere did it say you must. This was an overreach if I'd ever seen one. Next morning, I walked over to Ron's. He's my neighbor, salt-of-the-earth kind of guy, already grumbling on his porch about getting the same mandatory service notice. $300, she tried to fine me. Ron snorted, holding up the letter. "I mow my own damn lawn better than those Green Crest kids ever could." We agreed we had to push back. "She's bluffing," I said, but I meant to prove it. That night, I started digging. Security footage, old emails, HOA bylaws spread all over my dining table, lit by the cold blue glow of my laptop and the harsh yellow of a desk lamp. Found a gem. Our property management company, Elmsworth Residential, had filed a conflict of interest disclosure 2 years ago. Buried on page $18.41,000 in payments to Greencrest in 1 fiscal year. And the signature? Clarabth Ashburn. Suddenly, this wasn't just HOA. Strong Armingit looked a whole lot like she was getting kickbacks. I called in a favor to Priya Desai, a municipal lawyer I'd met during a city zoning spat. She was sharp, with a sense of humor dry as sandpaper. "You still know HOA law?" I asked. She laughed. "Am I going to enjoy this?" I gave her the highlights: forced fees, undisclosed financial ties. She said, "Send me everything. If this is real, it's ethics violations and possibly fraud." I stayed up piecing together a digital packet annotated PDFs, scanned bylaws, a video clip of Clarabth laying down her "you'll be billed" edict. Meanwhile, word was spreading. Ron texted 3 more homeowners had been hit, including Mrs. Delaney, a sweet old lady on a fixed income, now facing over $600 in fines. I went to see her, explained what I was doing. She hesitated, but agreed, signed her permission to add her case to the complaint. By sunset, I had 6 affidavits for written statements and one very cranky email from Clarabth accusing me of spreading misinformation undermining community cohesion. I printed it out and labeled it retaliation. Saturday rolled around monthly HOA meeting day. Instead of the rec center lounge, they'd moved it to the elementary school cafeteria to accommodate more attendance, which was code for "we're in damage control." I got there early, second row. Clarabth swept in late, blue pantsuit, flanked by 2 nervous board members. Her smile was tight, and you could see she was trying to hang on to a script while the room hummed with tension. She started with her usual spiel, then opened the floor for questions. I stood up, voice loud and steady. Zayden Fletcher, Lot 28. I moved to suspend the green crest mandate due to improper ratification and a conflict of interest. Murmurs rippled. Clarabth tried to cut me off, but I didn't stop. You authorized payments to Green Crest, failed to disclose your relationship, and fined residents who didn't comply. That's a violation of both our bylaws and state HOA ethics codes. The place went dead quiet. I have the signed conflict disclosure. Vidar logs. The works. She tried to brush it off. Zayden, you're not a lawyer. No, I said, but I have one. And I held up Priya's letter from the city legal department, stamped and sealed. This is a notice of investigation. Every resident here should withhold any payment related to Green Crest until this is resolved. Someone shouted from the back, "What about our refunds?" Another voice, "She fined my daughter for planting sunflowers." The room exploded. Board members started to sweat. Darrell, the mustached one, stumbled up to the mic. "We'll review the Green Crest contract immediately and put a hold on charges." People wanted more, they wanted justice. Someone dredged up the time Clarabth used HOA funds to repaint her mailbox post and called it community enhancement. The meeting spiraled. Clarabth finally stormed out, red-faced. In the days that followed, the board met without her emergency session. Fines frozen, contracts suspended, independent auditor brought in. Within 10 days, we all got refund checks in the mail. Mine came with a bland apology letter. I pinned it to my garage corkboard next to her original demand notice. That weekend, Ron threw a barbecue. Mrs. Delaney brought lemon bars. Someone stuck a sign in their yard. This grass was mowed by free will. I brought Priya a bottle of wine as thanks. You know, if the board had just followed procedure, none of this would have happened. They counted on nobody reading the details, I told Priya. She grinned. They picked the wrong reader. 3 weeks later, things were different. Quiet, almost awkward. The HOA ran like a group chat nobody wanted to reply to. Darrell was acting president now, scrambling to salvage his reputation. Then one afternoon, a Navy SUV pulled up. Out stepped a clean-cut detective with a badge. Zayden Fletcher? Yeah. Detective Milo Hargrave, County Financial Crimes. He told me the bombshell. Clarabth had submitted payments to Green Crest using a fake tax I'd registered to a shell company dissolved years ago. She was funneling HOA funds money laundering, not just bad leadership. She'd skipped town 2 nights before accounts frozen. Phone left behind, car gone. The board was left in shambles, under state oversight until an audit could sort things out. Neighborhood morale shifted. Patrice, who lived by the lake path, started a watchdog group, the Bylaw Brigade. They met weekly, went through every line of the rules, and taught folks how to file complaints. I showed up to find Mrs. Delaney leading a session about proxy voting. "Don't let them bully you with fake quorums," she barked, whiteboard marker in hand. Afterward, a burly guy named Theo introduced himself, local mechanic. Never thought anyone could beat the HOA until I did. Wasn't just me, I told him. Whole block got fed up. Soon, the county stepped in, ordered a new election. This time, everyone got a say. Patrice became president, Theo treasurer, Mrs. Delaney secretary, of course. The first thing they did publish everything: budgets, meetings, contracts, attendance. Green crest? Gone. Any future services had to be opt-in, no more forced contracts. The next few weeks were surreal. Detective Hargrave, called Clara Beth, had been found, trying to open an account in Vegas under a different name. She was in custody, charged with fraud, tax evasion, embezzlement, the works. In court, I kept it simple. I was told I owed money for services I never asked for. When I refused, I was fined. When I questioned it, I was ignored. That's why I looked deeper. The judge nodded. That's the key issue here: choice. Bail was denied. Neighborhood life slowly transformed. Forums every other Saturday. Kids played in front yards without parents worrying about noise violations. One family sent me a letter, said they'd almost moved after the fines, but now their daughter was running a garden club. A new landscaping crew arrived, local veterans, voluntary service. Theo stopped by to show me the new draft of the HOA. Rules every line that once allowed abuse tightened. Mandatory services? Banned. Any misuse of funds? Permanent ban from serving. 75% signed the petition. It passed unanimously. About 2 weeks after, I sat on my porch, reading the local paper. Former HOA president sentenced in fraud case. Clara got 6 years in state prison. Full restitution ordered, assets seized. Ron showed up with a box of sleek, new house numbers, grinning. "Let's finally get rid of those ugly plastic ones," he said. We worked side by side, and for once, it felt like progress, real, earned. That night, the neighborhood was quiet but different, stronger. People had been tested, and instead of fighting with pitchforks, they fought with facts, documents, signatures, and truth. The board expanded: new faces, younger folks. Tool share, compost bin, book exchange, nothing big, just things that made us feel like we belonged. One evening, I watched Mrs. Delaney strolling down the sidewalk, tote bag full of newsletters, voting reminders, encouragement notes. Still delivering those by hand. I teased. She winked. It's good exercise. Besides, people like getting something that isn't a bill. No one talked about Clara anymore. Her name was just a cautionary tale, proof that power without oversight corrupts, and that justice, even if slow, can feel like spring rain on an old, tired lawn. We didn't just rewrite a rule book. We reclaimed our home, and not a single blade of grass had to be cut against our will. Now, you tell me, where's the line between rules and freedom? When does protecting a community cross over into control? And how far would you go just to mow your own damn lawn in peace? Drop your thoughts below. Was justice served? Ever had to take on a little tyrant of your own? I want to hear your story.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.